bit about through Mark and XLP, just some of the difficulties that young people face, and the benefit of kind of mentoring as well.
And what are some of the challenges that you have sort of faced as you've gone? How long have you been mentoring?
I think it's about 8 or 9 months now.
Okay, cool. And so what some of the, the bigger challenges for you, like personally doing the mentoring in that context?
So the challenges, I think, so to begin with, there's that kind of period of you're getting to know your mentee and sort of they're getting to know you, and it can feel a bit awkward sometimes, and then there's also times where it feels a bit like they don't really want to meet up with you, and you have like periods where they're just going really quiet and you're really trying your hardest to meet up with them, and it doesn't always feel like they're really that bothered. So I think that's probably challenging.
And what are some of the things you did to sort of overcome some of those things?
I think just persevering. I think just keep letting them know that you're interested, keep letting them know that you want to meet up, and that you're really, just keen to see them, that you kind of, miss them. Just keep, just gently, just letting them know that you're there.
Yeah. And what sort of things have you seen, kind of in them, sort of move on over the time that you've been mentoring? Have you seen some really good sort of things that they've overcome?
I think it can be quite up and down.
Yeah.
So you don't always see results quickly, which is where the kind of perseverance comes in. And I think sometimes it's just those one-off conversations that you have where you just feel that they've just been really open with you and really honest with you, and you feel that actually they trust you. And I think that's been some of the highlights for me, is where I actually feel like, okay, they trust me enough to have a conversation and really be honest with me.
Yeah, cool. And what, is there another particular sort of specific highlight from the year, like a trip or something that you guys have done together?
Centre Park. That was really amazing just to get away. And I think Centre Parks is one of these just amazing places where you've got these amazing chalets and just activities. And I think for the young people, it was just like, we just like threw all this amazing stuff at them. And for us as well, like we just had a really fun weekend and just really quality time.
Great. And what are your sort of hopes and dreams going forward for your mentee?
I'd love to see her just get through school, get some GCSEs. She would love to work in the future as a lawyer. So I think just like exploring different avenues of how she can get there, and just staying well, staying safe.
Great. Cool. Thank you very much, guys. There's a lot about what Tez just said that's really important to, probably for all of you, that just sort of turning up, week by week is really... Can we put that fire out before I leave? We okay? Good? Maybe this will be a good time to do the fire notice. Run. There's a door open. One of the things that Tez was sort of saying there is very important about just turning up week by week, and the consistency of you guys being there really gives the young people that we're working with a really kind of solid base. They know who you guys are, they know that when they turn up at the bus, you're going to be there, you're going to be the same person, you're going to be consistent. And that's probably one of the most important things that you guys can do for those young people, is just to be there week in, week out, and that's really great. I'm going to invite Michael and Lee to the stage. Michael's got downing his water before he came. Come on. Dutch courage in water. Michael, how are you?
Fine.
You look very smart, may I say. And Lee, not bad. These guys are very special. Not in that way. These guys are sort of volunteering with XLP now, but they were once young people, believe it or not. They were much shorter and slightly goofier than they are now. Now they're fully grown men. Guys, tell us how when you were first introduced to XLP, how old you were, what kind of life looked like for you?
When I was first introduced must have been about 2009, so I must have been 13, and really there was really nothing really to do, but it was the XLP Monday football sessions in Camden, which I got introduced to XLP, and it really gave something to sort of look forward to during the week, so sort of fun thing to do.
What do you do?
I went out with my
Love young people when it's so articulate. And tell us a bit about your journey over the last 5 years. How has sort of being part of XLP kind of built your confidence or things like that?
5 years ago, I had no confidence, nothing, and within the last few years, I became a football referee. So the XLP sort of helped me sort of ref the tournaments, which I'm now hated by a lot of young people. But yeah, and then it was, they've now let me volunteer as a coach, and within the last sort of 2 years, 1.5 years, I've been doing a bit more, so I'm doing more sessions. Next year I'll be doing like a full sort of gap year with XLP coaching sort of. And now, my confidence, I'd say, is sky high, literally. When I went away with sort of Ellsbury and Abbey Wood kids to Derby the other weekend, I went mad. I loved the power.
There's an issue there.
How many press ups?
Yeah, it's really helped me. Sort of my confidence now so high. I can take it onto like the football pitch, refereeing.
Sweet. Good times. Lee, tell us a bit about your journey over the last just say it's like Michael's about the last 4 or 5 years and what you're looking to do and how you're going to engage with XLP in the future.
5 years ago I was very shy. I didn't talk to anyone barely. Then I went football, got more confident, started speaking to more people. Then I got into XLP volunteering, started coaching more. Now I just talk to anyone, just...
You do make people laugh. And on the sort of, what are you going to be doing from September and how are you going to sort of still be part of what XLP is doing?
I want to look to do more coaching outside of XLP, then just teach people about football, how to kick a ball.
Wonderful. There's probably a few people in this room that could do with that. Guys, thank you. Thank you for pointing out Mark. Mark is generally the butt of every joke. To be fair, Mark has done a lot of amazing work for you guys here, and Ian particularly. But it's just incredible to have you guys come along as volunteers now, having come, from such a long way as being young people that we've engaged with and played football with, and now. In a place where you've got a lot of confidence and you're starting to teach other young people in your area, what that's like and to build their confidence too. So we really appreciate you guys coming. So thanks very much, Lee. Can I just say, Laura, I've never seen your hair curly, it looks lovely. Thanks so much for coming this evening, and just tell us how you were introduced to XLP.
So I've just finished uni at Goldsmiths in South London, and before I came I was volunteering at Youth Club at home, and at Soul Survivor I heard about XLP
almost 2 years ago. I'd been volunteering for about 6 months, and then I got dragged into urban missionary as well.
And screaming, yes, yes you did. And how was that as an experience?
It was really great. I was talking to Sarah Branson earlier, and just saying how nice it was to get to know different people on the XLP team and work in a completely different area and see a different part of London and how XLP works in different places.
Great, and tell us specifically what project you've been working on in what area for the last few years.
So I've been working on Peeps Estate in Deptford.
Shout out.
Yeah, on the bus.
Okay, cool. And how's that experience gone for you? What are some of the kind of highs and lows that you've seen in that area on the bus over such a long period of time?
I think some of the lows have been seeing, like you hear about a lot of things that young people go through when you start something like this. So I guess the lows have been seeing those things actually happen and hearing about young people that you know going through some of those things. But the highs have just been getting to know so many great young people and seeing completely different sides of them that maybe their teachers and other people don't see. A couple of weeks ago there was a girl that came on the bus and I hadn't seen her for about a year, but we managed to, she'd been going through some really tough stuff when I'd last seen her, and she just told me about all those things, and like even though I hadn't seen or spoken to her for about a year, the fact that she just talked to me about all of that was really amazing.
Awesome. And just lastly, like a lot of our volunteers and mentors say that actually it's not just about the young people changing, it's you know, the mentors and the volunteers often, you know, experience something that really kind of fundamentally changes them as well. How do you see yourself now in comparison to sort of 3 years ago? How has that experience sort of changed you?
Well, I started out volunteering and really enjoying the fact that it was volunteering was something I did, but now I've decided that I want to go into youth work full time. So it's had a pretty big impact.
Awesome. That's so cool. Thanks, Laura. I'm just going to invite Naomi up just to say a few words and to give you something.
So, hello. Hi. You might not know this, but Laura has been our longest serving volunteer ever. I say that. She has been in Lewisham. I don't know about any of the other boroughs. I don't really care about the other boroughs. Lewisham is the way forward. But we really wanted to say a massive thank you, because you didn't have to come out on a Friday evening throughout your 3 years of university to come to Deptford and spend time on the bus, but you did. And we have loved having you. You've been an absolute model volunteer, and we're really going to miss you. Like, big time. So give it up for Laura.
That's French. Fantastic, by the way. In a moment, you're going to have all your bowls cleared for you, so you don't have to catch those in for anything else. So just sit, relax, and Daniel's going to play for a few more minutes, and then in a very short while we're going to hear from Mr. Patrick Regan, who has entered the building. Stage back. Doesn't make any sense. So just do what you do best.
Suicide. I heard about it on like my third day, and I was like, oh, I've got to go for this because, you know, the guitar and the singing, I thought it was like the perfect opportunity. That was like in 2012 or something like that, and then 2013 or something like that, yeah. And then I did the performance, and then I did one this year as well, which was pretty cool. Yeah.
And tell us what inspired you to kind of write about suicide.
Well, I'm really, really into, you know, Kurt Cobain and, you know, Jimi Hendrix. You know the 27 Club, right? And I was like, why do people romanticize all these people into being like these great heroes because of what they did? Because it's not a great thing at all. And I thought that raising the issue and like putting it into a song, people will listen to it and think, well, you know, it's not as great as people portray it, I guess.
Cool, excellent. And tell us just a little bit about your sort of personal journey over the last year or so. Some of the things, challenges that you faced.
Like music or anything.
Yeah, anything.
Last year in October I had spinal surgery, which really impacted my music, and also brought me to do another XLP showcase, which was really cool. And it boosted my confidence a bit, because a few months after the surgery I did the showcase and I was like, wow, you know, I can still do stuff, and it just boosted my confidence, so, you know, yeah.
Awesome. Guys, can we give it up for Charlie? Thanks so much for coming and for sharing that with us as well. And obviously, as we know, there's lots of young people like that we're mixing with on the buses, or whether we're mentoring, whether in schools or in the communities. And it's just incredible to hear just a few stories this evening of young people that we're working with and supporting, and actually the amazing bravery and incredible decisions that they're making about their own lives and how they're kind of moving through their challenges and into a brighter future. And that's what XLP is all about, isn't it? It's making positive futures, which all of you here, whichever context you're working in, and whether you actually realise it or not, are building for young people that you're interacting with on a weekly basis. You're building a positive future for them, whether you see it or not, or whether they see it at the moment or not. That's really important that we keep going through that. I'm just going to say a quick grace for our dinner, and then we will get eating. So let's just take a moment to thank God.
My heart's gone cold for the hell of it. This world is full of people who don't care. Screaming YOLO through the hands up in the air. But YOLO wasn't meant to throw your life away. You gotta make it, look back and hold it. No regrets, no problems, good grades. Still here living in new ways. I'm just trying to live my life. I will win, will let a fight to be a memory that you'll never forget. See my name in the lights, take me out for the night. Cause I'm slowly but physically I'm dying. I feel the air coming in, but there's no point trying, cause I find it hard to breathe, I find it hard to sleep. But most of all, I find it hard to keep me on my feet. You see, my mind is like an open book, just waiting to be read. But at this moment, it's like I'm seeing but can't see. I'm dreaming but can't be. My liveliness is everything, that's my philosophy. I may be young, but I'm not stupid. I've got a brain and there's no doubt that I'll use it. I need to find a way through this, cause my mind is too full to make choices. Help me, I'm drifting far away from reality. Catch me before I go, cause I'm solving wave after wave, wave after wave.
Am I right? Leah didn't want to be into it particularly, but am I right in thinking that you wrote that as well? Awesome. Guys, we're just going to introduce another act from our showcase as well. And yeah, without further ado, come on in.
Hi everyone. My name's Imani. This is my close friend and pianist Shahid.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing Diary by Alicia Keys. Yeah.
When did you start singing? When did you realise you had such an incredible voice?
When I was younger, like, I don't know, like year 2, I used to do like school plays and that. I was just scared, as you can see, I'm quite little, so I was just scared of Wizard of Oz. They thought I'd fit in. But I think after that, year 5, I did Beauty and the Beast, and I was the Beast for some reason. Seriously, I started kind of seriously singing when I hit year 7, when I went to secondary school. Through a teacher and my dad, they were both kind of major influences in me kind of taking up singing. So, yeah.
Sweet. And what about you, piano?
It's been my 6th year playing.
6 years?
Yeah. Around the same time I started like doing it properly in secondary school. I come from a proper like musical family. Dad's a music teacher, mum's a singing coach. Yeah. But like it never really like hit me until like I was in secondary school. And yeah, my music teacher was a major influence as well.
Sweet.
What you have to say.
Okay, whereabouts is that? What school and what area?
We live in Tottenham, so school called Glasgow in Tottenham.
And you guys are going to be performing in the showcase final, is that right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So come on, give us a taster. Tell us what these guys are going to miss out on if they don't turn up.
I don't actually know what I'm singing yet.
Didn't realise this.
Hopefully, I just like to entertain. I like to make everyone feel happy when I sing. I'd like to say as well, like, it would be nothing without, sorry. It's just the nerves, nothing without my friend Shahima, because I don't, imagine me singing that song without the music behind it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's not, anyone can say a cappella, but it's like, there's something about, I think as friends as well, because we've been friends for such a long time, it's like, there's a connection, not just as a friendship, but as a music, few music. So, yes, I just like to point that out.
Come and see it. So there you go, guys. For no other reason, you need to be in the showcase just to hear what these guys are going to do in the next month or so. Okay, we have arrived at dessert, destination dessert. No idea what it is. But in order to get your dessert, you need to cash in your empty plate. Does that make sense? Good. So, if you don't take your dirty plate up to be collected, children, you won't get dessert. It's a very simple principle, but depending on how much wine you've had, you should be able to get it. We're going to do the same as we did last time, because these guys finished their food a long time ago, so they're probably quite hungry again. So if this table would like to go up, where's your dessert? Guys, I'm going to hand over to the guy who's made all of your volunteering and projects and XLP possible, Mr. Patrick Regan.
Thank you very much, Matt. It's not quite true, but I really appreciate it. Anyway, welcome to All Hallows London Wall, and really, I'm here just to say a massive thank you to all the effort that you guys have put in over many weeks and months, no doubt. I was reflecting recently around what it takes to be a really good volunteer, what it takes to be a really good mentor, and I think it takes a huge amount of courage. Because when you first meet that young person, when you first go onto that bus, you don't know if that young person is going to like you. But in fact, after 6 months, you're probably not quite sure if that young person likes you. And it takes courage to do something. Now, I'm quite old now, and I was thinking back to the sort of films I used to like when I was a kid. And I have to say, my favourite film when I was a kid was Rocky. Anyone watch Rocky? Anyone know Rocky? Put your hand up if you've seen Rocky. Now come on, let's see how old you are here. Rocky was the ultimate film. If you haven't seen it, you need to rush home and see it tonight, because what it was this guy called Apollo Creed, right? He was the boxing champion of the world, and Rocky was this bum, and basically what happened is Apollo Creed decided that he was going to have a charity fight, and he was going to fight just a nobody, and they chose Rocky Balboa, the Italian stallion. Oh yes, it was fantastic. You couldn't mess with Rocky. And what happened was, of course, there was this amazing scene, and at the end, they had this fight. The fight, of course, goes 15 rounds. And in the last round, just when you think it's all gone pear-shaped, Rocky comes strong. It's amazing, it's fantastic. And basically, he doesn't quite win the fight, but he's the hero after all. Because Rocky Balboa epitomises courage. And of course, after Rocky 1, there's obviously going to be Rocky 2. Rocky 2 gets even more exciting, ladies and gentlemen, because they fight again. There's a rematch. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And there's these incredible running scenes. I just love it. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. You know, Rocky starts running, right? And then everyone goes like, yo, Rocky, Rocky, and he's like waving at everyone, and then everyone starts running alongside him, and then he's on the steps, and everyone's cheering. And so they have another fight, and then surprise, surprise, it also goes 15 rounds. It's incredible. But at the end of this fight, right at the last seconds, they both fall down. It's brilliant. They both are knocked out. I don't know how that happened in a boxing match. Sylvester Stallone's got more blood on his face that you can't actually see his eyes at this point. And there they are, and in the last seconds, the ref is counting, and you're thinking, who's going to get up? And of course, Rocky gets up, and he lifts up the shield, and he can't really talk properly. And so he goes, yeah! I don't know what that meant. It sounded like some weird lingo. And then it just went on, it just got better and better, because Rocky 3 had Mr. T in it! Mr. T, ladies and gentlemen! B.A. Baracus! And of course, it was the best film of all time because it also had the coolest theme music, which is Eye of the Tiger. I tell you what, I'm just getting so pumped thinking about Rocky. I want to punch someone or hit someone. Where's Macron? Come in. And then Rocky 4, he goes to Russia. He had fights a Russian dude, I don't know what his name is, blonde dude. I have no idea what you lot just said. I'm very sorry. Okay. Unless it's you. Anyway, that character, the blonde dude, there's this scene, right? They're going to have to punch gloves, and there's this thing, because this guy's about like 12 foot high, and he just turns and he goes, I must break you. It's the best film. And then, to be honest, after Rocky 4 it all went downhill. Rocky 5, Rocky 6 came about 25 years later after Rocky 5. But the thing about the Rocky films is everyone said Rocky Balboa epitomises courage, because he just wouldn't go down. He was spectacular. But the reality is, that isn't courage. And courage happens, I think, in what you guys do week in and week out. Courage is often happening where it's not seen. There's a saying I've used a lot recently, that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's the quiet voice at the end of the day that says, I'm going to try again tomorrow. Put your hand up if you are into Twitter, put your hand up to Facebook. Put your hand up if you think it's all of the devil. I'll sort you out. And I'm going to send that mean dude over to get you. But I remember I was doing this talk on courage, and I was thinking, I just put a simple tweet out there, what is courage? And I got the normal answers back. Courage is fear, feel the fear and do it anyway. And then there was just this one tweet that really made me think. It just said this: courage is about allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Courage is about allowing yourself to be vulnerable, week in and week out. And I've been doing some writing today, and I was thinking that so often what we do is we show people our highlights, our show reel. You know what I mean by show reel? This is like the best of us. Well, actually, what people need to see sometimes is what goes on behind the scenes, because that's reality. And I remember, this is successful youth worker I was, is many years ago, I worked in a special needs school. It only had about 90 kids in it, and the school was really, really suspicious of us originally. So I thought, I'm going to set up a lunch club, it's going to be amazing, loads of kids are going to come, it's going to be fantastic. And we had 4 kids for the whole year. And one of them was called Chris. And Chris was one of these kids, he never used to make eye contact with anyone. You can notice I like to make eye contact with everyone to make sure they're not doing anything stupid. And so he didn't make eye contact with anyone at all. And he'd look at the floor, he wouldn't look at me, and I used to find him really, really frustrating. The school got broken into over the weekend, and we used to do lunch club on Monday, and the teacher said, we all know that Chris did it. But we can't do anything. His home life's a complete mess. He drinks too much. And after my 18 months of working with Chris, do you know what I achieved? He looked me in the eye. Now the thing is this, all my mates were starting charities around the same time. When I started XLP, there was loads of people starting charities all over the place. And everyone would be telling these incredible, spectacular stories. And I remember someone saying, so what happened this week? And I went, it's amazing. A young person looked me in the eye, and they were like, wow, that's impressive. Stick that on your funding forms, there you go. But the reality is, for that kid, it's the first time he ever did it. There's another girl, her name is Stacey, same club. Oh man, Stacey. She used to come into our club, and she used to knock things off the table. She used to be like, effing egg, this is effing rubbish. And I was a little bit like, well, don't come then, you know. And she was one of those kids. I don't know if you ever know a kid like this. And forgive me, I'm just being honest with you. I'm a Christian, and I used to say, God, give her swine flu. Just don't let her come in today. I don't like her. And I said that out loud. I shouldn't have said that. Don't tweet anything. Anyway, Stacey came week up and drove me mad. And part of this club always involved me doing this tiny little talk for 5 minutes. And I'd normally tell a Bible story. I'd normally talk about David and Goliath, because I always like talking about that. Talk about going against the odds. Actually, it doesn't matter if you feel young and insecure and that no one cares about you. The fact is, actually, you have the potential to achieve something. One day, Stacey came in. You know those tiny little New Testaments? They're really, really small. And she had one in the back of her pocket. And I literally went, Stacey! And she was like, shut up, man! I was like, no. And she was like, yeah, no, I've been thinking about what you're saying and stuff, and I like reading it, innit? And she goes, the other thing is, I've been going to church on Sunday, and I like the music, it calms me down, but once that boring man starts talking, I'm out of there. No, I didn't think that, no, that was bad. But the fact is, Stacey didn't travel far, but actually she became one of my favourite kids. She got herself pregnant at the age of 16. I see Stacey occasionally, I haven't seen her for a while, in Peckham, and she'll stop and she'll talk and she'll remember those times. I got a Facebook message a year ago. This guy was called Leon, and Leon was, again, a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. And I didn't know what happened to Leon, never heard of him, and then suddenly I get this on Facebook. Hello Patrick, hope all is well with you. You may not remember me, Leon from Northbrook. I remember you. I was in Miss Grant's tutor class, and I helped with XLP when you first started at the school. It was years ago, and now I see you've got much larger, so you may not remember me. Back then, you may remember that I wasn't the best kid in school. You're not kidding! But now, I've seen sense. Wait for this line. And I work as a police officer. If you had any projects ongoing where young people think they could benefit from an inspirational talk from me, flipping heck. Give me a message and I'll be up for it. Here's his number if you want it. No. Look forward to hearing from you, Leon. Leon actually Facebooked me today and said, have you remembered? And give me a call and stuff, so I need to do that. But the thing is, All those stories, they're not huge, but actually, it's about having courage. It's about allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And sometimes people see me do this sort of stuff and they're like, oh, you must be really confident, you've done lots of things. The reality is, there isn't a day that probably goes past, there certainly isn't a week that doesn't go past, where I'm thinking, what am I doing? I don't know if you go into situations with your mentors or you go on the bus or you're involved in a project and you just feel completely and utterly overwhelmed. When I started XLP, I remember doing assemblies, I remember looking at the kids looking back at me, and sometimes in those days they didn't really do year group assemblies, they did whole school things, and they were like looking at me going, possibly, what could you possibly know about my life? What do you know about the situation that I'm going home to? I remember this one kid, he was 18, he used to sleep with his mum on Guy Fawkes night because he was from Sierra Leone, and he remembered the gunshots going off. He was terrified. Taking kids home, looking at you going, why do you want to go home? I don't want to go through that door. What's going on? Thinking, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with the stuff that I'm finding out. I remember moving on, and then as soon as I remember going to Belmarsh Maximum Security Prison, as you do. I'm not as an inmate. And I remember sitting there, and I knew the chaplain really well. I've been there quite a few times to speak. And we all sat in this circle, and she told me, which wasn't particularly helpful, what all the guys were in for, you know. And he's in for murder, and he's in for burglary, and he's in for this. And then the way they used to do it is 2 or 3 people used to have a nil talk, and then the main speaker would come from outside and do the main talk. And of course, what happens with the nil talks is all the other prisoners, they don't understand what was being said. They go, "You're talking rubbish. I don't understand a word you're saying." Imagine that saying that in church. That would be nice. But you're like, I was thinking, I've had it. What am I doing? I am going to have a nightmare. One of the things I was really passionate about, but living in Peckham, was I really wanted to understand black history, black culture, and so I spent a lot of time in the Caribbean. It's a hard life, and West Africa. But I remember literally going to some of these slave castles and slave forts and having to speak to huge churches, and these people wanted to show me around and show me their history. Of course they did, but I was the only white guy there, and again I'm thinking, what on earth am I doing? And more recently, I've done stuff in the House of Commons, and I remember I'm sitting there in the House of Commons and I don't understand what's coming out of their mouths. And I want to ring my mate Simon and say, mate, you're intelligent, if I'm more intelligent than me, please tell me what they're saying, but I can't. So I start Googling the words that they're saying. This is actually true, I Google the words, and then I realise I can't spell the words. The Google thing's not working. What am I doing? I'm in the wrong job, why? And then when you do the crazy TV stuff, you're sitting there and you're looking at this woman and she normally goes to you, the presenter, 10 seconds and you're on air. And I'm thinking to myself, 10 seconds, what am I doing this for? In 3 minutes, I could ruin the whole of XLP. I could say something ridiculous. My heart's pumping, I'm thinking, this is rubbish. Why do I do it? Well, I do it for the same reason you do it, I think. I just want to make a difference. I want to see change. I don't want to accept the status quo. Despite how hard life is sometimes, and it is really hard sometimes, I still believe hope is a refusal to accept a situation as it is. And courage, actually, is about allowing yourself to be vulnerable. It's about saying, I will break through the fear barrier. And I might muck it up, and I have mucked it up more times than I can remember. But I want to do it anyway. Now, you guys have been working with young people and been volunteering with us for a while, and I am guessing, I've worked with young people for a very, very long time, and in that time, rarely have I done a talk or been on a bus or done a youth club or run a lunch club or helped the kids read, and the kid at the end of it's gone, I just realised that actually tonight you've given up a lot of your time, and that talk probably took you a long time to prepare. I just want to say how grateful I am for the time and the energy that you put into that. I really, really appreciate it. To be honest, not even my staff say that. But the reality is, they don't, do they? So listen, I am here, and this dinner is to say thank you. I am grateful, XLP is grateful for every time you've stepped foot on the bus. Every time you've mentored a kid, every time you've texted at a moment where you just don't want to text, every time they've let you down and the little robbers haven't let you know that they're not going to be there. Every time that actually you've had to leave work early and you've sacrificed stuff. We are extremely, we couldn't do what we do without you. So thank you so, so much. And I really hope you feel that tonight is the gratitude of everyone in XLP. We have been running volunteers now for the last, about 4 years ago, we realised that actually getting volunteers in was part of our strategy. And we're trying to work out how to do more for volunteers. So one of the things we would love to do for you guys is we put on training around mentoring, which some of you have probably done and others of you haven't done. The reality is this training is absolutely brilliant. I'm told by Matt, who runs it, and but I'm told by others as well. It's a fantastic time. And actually, whatever you're doing with young people is, whether you're mentor, whether you're on the bus, or whether you're doing some other sort of youth volunteering, it'll be a great thing to do. So we want to make sure that you guys get to do that free of charge in the autumn, whereas everyone else is going to have to pay for it. We would love to offer that as just an opportunity for you guys to just feel like you're getting more training, more resources and stuff like that. The other thing to mention is tonight would not be possible, and the whole volunteering stuff wouldn't be possible. 4 years ago we employed someone and we wanted her to really pioneer the whole work with volunteers in XLP. That's it, I'm done. Thank you ever so much for coming.
You're not very sad at all. Thank goodness for that. There's no more from us, but do feel free to stick around for a little while. There's some very special Tesco value orange juice at the back that needs finishing. It's a shame the toilet's broken. But like Patrick said, just thank you so much for coming and being part of this evening. And yeah, hopefully we'll catch up with you again soon. Feel free to stick around, and thanks very much.